Hey guys, Vance here, back again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the round 6 review. So overall, wasn't the worst outcome. I was expecting a much more worse week. So we got 2,097, which I thought was quite low, but we only slid 132 places, so really not too bad. So season rank 13,823. Yeah, obviously we'd want that to keep going up, but I knew it was a really down week for me personally, and I'm happy to just sort of stabilize at the same rank. That's really not the worst outcome. So, a lot of great games this weekend. It was a good Anzac Day weekend. It was great to see the Pies get up over Essendon in that fourth quarter. It is unbelievable to see Nick Dacos playing every single week. He is just so good, and I had no problem with the C on him. Third highest scoring points for the week, so we're very happy with that. Congrats to all those people that got the Bontempelli VC on the Friday night, but you know, third highest from Nick Dacos will definitely take that, and what a sight to watch. So let's jump into the reviewing, go over what happened. Look, as I sort of done the last few weeks, we're going to skim over it a bit, and we can already see sort of what went really wrong in this team. I'm actually going to undo everything that I had played around with, because I was playing around to make sure I could do my trades this week. But we can actually see here that I had Roberts 19 on the field. I could have taken Baker's 59 with Tom Green's loophole, but I thought Roberts would have a bigger game. Obviously came off injured, and yeah, just really unfortunate there. 40 points left on the track. That's okay. And then the other huge problem is bloody Pickett down on 16. Now, he did take a stinger. I missed out on a period of the game, but he wasn't doing anything when that happened anyway. Like, he'd done nothing. Then he took a stinger and did nothing. So this was actually a massive fail trade-in by me. I would have been a lot better just playing Will Day on the bench and just taking the points each week from these rookies than what I got from Pickett. So really disappointing. Didn't pan out in the way that I thought. With the more mid-time, he'd have an elevated floor and have the potential for a high ceiling. But yeah, it just wasn't the case, and it was just very disappointing. As we mentioned, we got the Dacos 145. Our trades last week allowed us to bring in Neil, and we did put the VC on him, expecting a much bigger game. Honestly, a bit disappointing, and he was very lucky to salvage a 78-6 because it was looking like he was going to get a 40. Now, Took was the other option on the table, and well, I guess we got to sing our praises there that we didn't bring in Took over Neil. Obviously got the points this week, and Neil will continue playing where Took is going to be out for a bit. So really unfortunate for anyone that brought in Took. Yeah, Dawson, alright week. Sinclair, it's alright. He was once again on track for another massive score, and then moved into the midfield, and I just don't like him in the midfield. He got like 3 touches, I swear. He did nothing. He was on track again with like another 70 score. Might have even been higher than that, and then got moved into the midfield and did very minimal for the rest of the game. So they seem to do that 2 weeks in a row, where the first half he'll play behind the ball, do really well, then they move him onto the ball after half time, and he just doesn't do anything. So this is feeling a bit scary, this pick, because it is in the sense that if he does have that small first half and then he gets moved onto the ball, what's going to happen? He's going to end up dropping a 50. So very scary there. Obviously Bont had the massive game on Friday night, so congrats to everyone that had the VC on him. There was a lot of leagues I was in that everyone had VCs on him. It was like 3 out of the 10 leagues that people didn't have VCs on, and it was just starting really far behind in those weeks. Goulden also had a really poor week again, which is really unfortunate. Look, we're happy to keep him and maybe buy flip him in a worst case scenario here, but it just wasn't good. And he had a free kick early on where he got like this great tackle, and he really should have got a holding the ball free for it, and then like literally 2 minutes later, like the exact same thing happens. Like, man, they called him for holding the ball, and I was like super bloody triggered over that. But obviously Cat's absolutely decimating Swans, so yeah, it was hard for any Swans to score. Saying that, it's the same for the Essendon game. The Pies had so much of the pie. Supercoach pie, that is. They just, all the points were there. Sidebottom had a massive game too. Pendlebury was having a massive game until he took that stinger in the eye. And was off for, second half of the fourth. I think he still managed to put together almost a 110, and he missed the last 10 minutes. So, and that's 10 minutes of game clock, not 10 minutes of actual playtime. And yeah, Setterfield ended up with a 76, which I was kind of surprised with, but he was 30 points in the first quarter. I didn't really see him in the first quarter, but apparently he had like 34 points. And then just managed to mosey on to a 76. So that's fine. We take those. Yeah, and I guess they're the most memorable things there. I mean, Toronto had a massive game, Rosie had a massive game, Darcy had a massive game. So I was definitely feeling good after Friday night with Darcy's massive game, Bont's massive game. Obviously didn't have English. If you had the Darcy plus English and you had the VC on Bont, oh man, you would have been sitting pretty this week after round one. But Walker turned out really well the last 2 weeks without Day in the team. And it's a bit of a hard one there because we want to keep him for the next few weeks and let him really roll out his cash here. So if we chuck on the break evens, he's down to 25 break even. He's going to be making some cash for the next 2 weeks, would think. But that doesn't mean he's going to score well. Will Day's going to come back in. His position probably not going to do as well. But yeah, so yeah, what I'm looking at trades wise is Cozzy is a failed pick. He needs to go. Unfortunately, for what I want to do, I have to get rid of one of Hopper or Setterfield, and I will be going Setterfield. One for the break-even point here, I guess. Hopper definitely has that lower break-even, but yeah, I don't know. Setterfield obviously started off like a house on fire, but he hasn't been anything crazy recently. He's made his 100k. Awesome, thank you. You've done your job. Need to move him on now. And then the final one here, I was looking at moving on Wilmot. Now, what this allows me to do, if we jump down to the break-evens, I'm only going to bring in Seamus Mitchell in the back line. And then once we jump off those break-evens, we're going to be looking at the average. And where is he? We're going to be bringing in Zaki Merritt for one. And I think Will Day for the other one. So that's the plan right there. As bad as it sounds, I was actually really happy to hear when Merritt was suspended. Like, it sucks because, honestly, I don't think it deserved it. But it meant that he didn't get to play this week in a game where he was definitely set up to probably have a good week and be instrumental for Essendon in a very close game. And because he didn't get to play and he didn't get to increase his price. And since he wasn't able to increase his price, we managed to just sneak him into the team as well as fitting Will Day in. So I think this makes the team look really good right now. Once we sort of put all our premiums back on the field. Seamus Mitchell can move with Zeeble. It doesn't really matter, and however this works, but yeah, I mean, it's looking good. We've got the 4 premiums in the back, we've got 5 in the midfield right now, so I've got 9, 11 there, and then if we're counting Sheasel, I think most people are 4 there. I've got 15 premiums there, so we only, I didn't even count Day as a premium. Day is definitely a premium, so 16 premiums, meaning we only have 6 rookies on field, which will be McKenna, to the mid prices, and Ashcroft, and then Seamus Mitchell and Chandler. So it's looking pretty good overall, the team. I think it's coming together quite nicely. I think this week, captaincy, it's going to be a bit of a hard one to choose, because I think definitely Neil into Freo, his old side, definitely a good revenge game at the Gabba, and I think historically he's had a few blinders against them. I think the last time they played it wasn't good, but before that it was blinder. Yeah, 87, but then a 171. So I know this was in his year where he was just going nuts, but still, it's just, I feel like this is just a good setup for Neil. Bont just held them up for 180. Freo aren't looking good. It could definitely be a big week for him. I think what other people can also be looking at is either Bont or English into Hawthorn. That's going to feel pretty good there. Obviously, Oliver or Gawn into North. Maybe against the Gawn, just because I don't know how many people have him, because obviously he had that 0 in his system for a little bit, so everyone's sort of letting him drop cash. I think you're probably just looking at Oliver here. And, I mean, if you have Cripps, maybe Carlton Cripps. If you have Took's out injured, what am I even thinking? Yeah, a bit hard there. And then Dacos for the C, or Laird, Dawson. No, it's hard to choose Adelaide players. So Collingwood players are really just soaking up all the Supercoach pie here. So I'd actually stay away from the Adelaide players. I think going at Dacos is fine, just because we've seen what he does. It wouldn't be surprising if he does get attention, but we've seen even when he gets attention, he's still going to be putting out over 100, because they just move him either on ball or into the forward line, or he just goes to any position and he's perfectly fine. So I think you got plenty of options here. Me personally, I'm going to be going Neil into Dacos. Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to go maybe Neil into Bont, but I'm really just hoping this Neil pick works out and then I don't have to worry about it, as we all want with our VCs. But yeah, I'm just going to put the VC on Neil, and then maybe on the day, maybe I'll have to figure that out. I think I'll go Dacos just because he's been Mr. Reliable for us. So I think that's where I'll go there. But yeah, that's how the team's sizing up. I'm pretty happy to bring in Will Day and Merritt because I do think Day is going to be a keeper. The question is he durable enough? I'm going to put hopefully the money on yes that he can. I think Merritt is someone I mentioned I want in my team. I think he's at a cheap price right now, and I don't know how long he's going to stay at this nice cheap price. They are into Geelong, but look, it's very hard for me, as you can see, only the 13k left over, to really look at going anyone beyond Neil. If I did want to look at other midfielders, because I'm definitely looking at midfielders, yeah, Clary's way too expensive. Laird's too expensive. I'm not going to go for Cripps personally at this point. Definitely an option, but not something I'm going to do. Anyone else I'm missing? Walsh has had 2 back-to-back really nice games, so I don't blame anyone for going on him. Jelly's actually quite cheap, which is really cool. What's Jelly's break even? Still a 114. Into Sydney. Western Bulldogs, Collingwood. It's not bad getting the North Freo right before you buy. Look, I think Jelly's a perfectly fine one to be looking at, honestly. Yeah, I think Jelly's at a good price. I don't have a problem with you going for Cripps. Don't know if I'd go Walsh just yet. Just because I want to give him a bit longer. Oliver's going to be coming down in price over the next few weeks, which is great. Unless he has a massive one, but that's fine. Laird's probably towards his break-even at this point. 103 into the pies. Could be a really good pickup here. I just don't really have the funds to go ahead and do that. I guess unless I wanted to move McKenna on instead of Wilmot, and then I could probably upgrade Merritt to like a Laird, which isn't a bad idea. I don't think it's what I'm going to do, but I guess they're my considerations. I could move McKenna for Wilmot, but then I have Wilmot on field, who's probably scoring 20 less points than McKenna. For Merritt on field. Sorry, for maybe Laird on field. I mean, the other thing is potentially Kelly. There's a reason I wanted Merritt. I'm pretty sure they have a really good run here. I mean, Merritt doesn't really have a good run until like after 3 weeks. So we could look at him before this Tigers game. Okay, let's just play around with this for a bit. So, I'm going to just undo it real quickly, and I just want to play around with that. So let's move on Setterfield still. We were moving on Pickett. And then if we were to move on McKenna instead, I don't know if Laird, as I said, or Kelly's going to actually outscore Merritt by 20 points, but let's see. So Kelly's run I don't think is very good right now. Yeah, not really until round 12 sort of lightens up. And Lord has Collingwood, which he's gone really big on previously. But Geelong, St Kilda, yeah, it's lightens up around about round 12 as well. Where's he by? 14. Kind of won him before then. He's at a cheap price now, though. Yeah, it's really hard to choose what you really want there. I mean, what I'm definitely doing is I'm definitely bringing Day in. That's just happening. And then we're bringing in Mitchell. And then, yeah, we can have as much as 643 to play with. Sorry, Day, get in defense. Just going to go to see who I can afford. Just to knock everyone out the way. I don't want Libba, don't want Sarong, don't want Uniac, don't want Degoe, as good as he's been. Yeah, it does put us down to the Laird, Kelly, Merritt sort of area. Yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. One of those three. It's a hard decision to say which one I will take. I mean, look, if I do grab a Kelly or a Merritt, at the end of the day, that means I can keep McKenna on field, which could be better potentially. Could be. So what, we had a 103 break even here. So I was going to quickly look at this before I wrap up this video. I feel like I didn't talk too much at the start, so we can afford to go over this. 114 there, and the Merritt's down in the 80s. But Geelong have been a lot better, and they did soak up a lot of the Supercoach pie the last few weeks. Where are they playing at? I guess that's another important question. So you are playing them at the MCG, so that's not so bad. And we're playing at Adelaide Oval for Laird. Okay. Yeah, look, I'll figure out what I'm doing this week, but that's basically what I'm looking at, guys. Obviously, as I mentioned, I've recommended my captains and whatnot, so I'd recommend looking at those. But yeah, look, we're getting close to completing this team, not too far from it now. So once again, thanks everyone for tuning in. It was a great week of footy. I'm really keen for it again. But yeah, best of luck, everyone. Make sure to leave your scores, comments, likes down below. I really appreciate all that. So I'll catch you then. Peace. Later.